Okay, Mad Dog, let's break this one down.
I love it. Good for him. You know what? I hate when the players go bounce around looking for, Durant did it. I can't.
Time out.
Wait,
time out. You're
is
taking
that like
this
a
Bible?
that's official?
Well, no, but you're asking me my opinion. The question
No,
is,
I actually didn't get to ask
would you rather see Giannis stay or leave? And my answer is, I'd rather have him stay.
I never asked the question.
That's the question. The question isn't, is he making a mistake? The question is, would you rather see him? And I would rather see
share
him.
the question with the audience.
Okay,
first.
go ahead. You may share it.
No, would you rather see Giannis stay or leave?
I'd rather see him stay. Okay. I think it's good for the league. I think for that small market, it's perfect. Kareem left. Okay, that was a long time ago. He won his championship. Giannis could leave. He's won his championship too, but I love it. I think that's perfect for the NBA. We don't have to listen to all the Giannis trade chatter in the summer months. And throw something else in. It's not always greener on the other side. Durant got out, and how's it worked out for him? Awful with the Nets, awful with Phoenix. So not always when a big star wants to leave does it work out. So from that standpoint, good for Giannis. And he's saying this when he knows Lillard's hurt. I love it. Let him stay. Good for the NBA. Having a guy end his career, start and end in the one city, is something that sports has missed a lot in the last 10, 15 years, with guys bouncing around wearing 9,000 hats with their Hall of Fame ceremonies. He's a buck when he got in, and I love to see him be a buck when he's finished.
Do you think that matters to him? To spend his entire career with Milwaukee?
I think legacy matters to him in a really big way. I think he is a fiercely loyal person. Sometimes that could be to a fault, to a degree.
Yeah.
But I would like just to go against a little bit of Wendy's thinking here for 1 second. Curious to get your opinions on this, guys. I mean, historically, free agents of this magnitude have not really moved anywhere until we get to July. So there's a lot of chatter about things happening right before the draft, when historically data points have not proven that to be true. Look, I'll say this. I've known Giannis. I just don't know him as an athlete. I know him as the entrepreneur, a visionary, and a global thinker, right? I would say the biggest thing for this moment is, can Milwaukee keep up with the pace of who Giannis is becoming out of all those things? Or are they limiting towards that? And I'm just not talking as an athlete. I'm talking about as a business overall. Because Giannis does think about himself as a business. Very differently positioned than a KD or a LeBron James. So to your answer, to a degree, I want to see Giannis do what Giannis wants to do. If that's staying in Milwaukee, that's great. I think that's an incredible narrative. If he's leaving, it's going to take the right situation, I think, to trigger him leaving, to go to a situation that he thinks he can build something differently than what he has in Milwaukee.
Are you referring to a bigger market? Because Shaq argued that doesn't matter anymore with social media.
But we kind of debunked that the other day right here with Stephen A. And market does matter. Depending upon what you're trying to accomplish, depending upon what your business is that you're trying to build. Some players may not want to build a business. Some players may just say, me playing basketball is enough, that's all I want to do. Other players may have larger aspirations with what they want to attain, not only for them, but also for their family. And I think that factors into this in a very big way.
Here's the deal. When you're talking about Giannis, one of the things that's inescapable, he's a good brother. He really, really is. Honest, straightforward, no nonsense. He's all about trying to win in anything that he does. And he ain't about befriending the competition. That's my favorite quality about him. He is not about you. You are against me. We are at war. We can be respectful to one another, but I'm trying to beat you. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't got to sing kumbaya with you and hang out in the offseason. Nah, you on the other side. That's how he rolls. Doggy, I bring that up because I'll say this to you. You talk about what's not good for the league. Is it good for the league that since the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship in 2021, that they've won one playoff series? They've been home the other years in the first round. Is that good for the league? I don't think that's good for the league. I think it's good for the league when you have superstars that play deep into the playoffs. That's what I think is good for the league. And when you don't have that, all bets are off, especially if you're in a smaller market. Because, see, they could deal with the smaller market if the superstars in the smaller market and they're advancing deep in the playoffs. But when the superstar's in the smaller market and you don't get to see the superstar because the superstar is gone in the first round, then that's a whammy for you. And so I look at it from that standpoint and I say, okay, if you're Giannis, you've delivered a championship to the city of Milwaukee. Yes, he's loyal. They had faith in him. They believed in him very, obviously at a very early age. And that's something that he holds near and dear to him. But then you got to look at the flexibility that the Milwaukee Bucks have. For example, this year they don't have a first-round pick. They got the number 47 overall pick, okay? They're strapped, okay? You're talking about the first apron, the second apron, and if they sign Brooke Lopez and how that pushes them, pushes their number exorbitantly high and stymies their maneuverability. All of these kind of things that you're thinking about, it's not just about Giannis and the fact that you lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Indiana Pacers or that you've lost, 4 of the last 5 years, okay? It's not just that. What does the future look like? Mm-hmm. What kind of position have you put him in to legitimately compete for a championship? The brother just finished averaging 30.4 points, 11.7 rebounds, shot 58% from the field.
Yeah, him and Dame were the highest scoring duo.
Last 4 seasons, average.
Stephen A., let me ask you this. Had there not been injuries, how far do you think this team could have gone?
I think that they could have made some noise if Damian Lillard is on his game. Along with Giannis, they could have made some noise.
They still have some very big defensive challenges, though.
But here's the problem. It's a plethora of injuries. Like, for example, last year, Giannis was injured. This year, it was Dame. This year, when they played a couple of playoff games together, was the first time they played together in the postseason. Mm-hmm. And then you look at Chris Middleton. They win a championship, but then his health nosedives for a couple of years. That was problematic. Every time you're turning around, they're having these kind of problems, and your flexibility has been stymied. So if you're Giannis, you do have a right. Those numbers I just gave you over the last 4 years, they ain't last season. That's over the last 4 years. This is who this brother is and what he brings to the table. You do get to a point where you're saying, wait a minute. My best years. Yeah, hold on now. What we got? What we got?
Well, again, I understand that if Giannis wants to leave and demand a trade, since he's won his championships, that's what got LeBron in trouble. LeBron did not win a title in Cleveland when he went to Miami. He came back to Cleveland to win the title. If he had won the title before he went to Miami,
that's why he went back to Cleveland.
I think everybody would have. That's why he went back. I think everybody would have been okay with going to Miami. Hey, won a championship here. I broke the drought. First title since '64. He didn't win one. And then he left. And Giannis has won one. So if Giannis wants to say, you know what, trade me to the Spurs, I'll play with Wembanyama, trade me to whomever. The Knicks, the idea that he's going to the Knicks, what are the Knicks going to give Milwaukee to make him happy? At least San Antonio's got draft picks. They can trade Castle. They can do some things that Milwaukee can do.
Well, the issue with him,
San Antonio help in terms of the bigger market. I get who you're playing
but with. But they can win a championship.
Well, they can win a championship, and Wembanyama is one of the faces. The combination of the two, Wembanyama is one of the faces, plus they can win a championship. Plus they have a championship pedigree, 5 championships under Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, and all of those guys. So that does play a role. In New York, the only reason why New York is very confident they can have a chance is because there's this belief that Giannis will tell the Bucks, if he wants to leave, I want to go there. That's the reason, because if the superstar says, that's where I want to go, then it's going to be very difficult for somebody else to come and grab.
I understand that, but I think that maybe Giannis would be somewhat flexible. Hey, Giannis, listen, San Antonio can offer us more, plus you got Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. Do you mind? And I think Giannis would agree to it. But back to the original take. I want Giannis to stay put. I think it'd be great for him. What's the matter with being a 20-year Buck? The greatest Buck
of all time. That's fine. I'm asking you, do you not have a problem with him going home in the first round? Year after year after year.
Again, there are some reasons for that,
yeah,
Steve.
I understand that.
They've been a little banged up.
I did not say there were not reasons,
and they had a suspension this season.
I did not say that. What I said is, do you have a problem with him going home in the first round?
But they can do a little better than that.
Guys, it's a lot, though. It's who they've had as head coaches. It's what their front office does. Orlando's coming. Detroit's coming. Indy's there. New York, there's a lot of other people who are in the arms race of the Eastern Conference. So it's a history of things that have happened in Milwaukee. Also, something else that people need to ask themselves, and I know people might think on paper, no, you keep Giannis. But, one of the people kill Michael Jordan all the time. Michael Jordan ran one of the most profitable franchises in the NBA. Think about that for a second, Doggy. Yeah. One of the most profitable franchises in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets now. All right, there's a reason why he had an exit where he made a lot of money. So it's when you reset an organization, can we max out value on trade assets and kind of reset the clock too here in Milwaukee is also something that I'm sure if your ownership you're thinking about in totality with Wes Edens and Jimmy Haslam.
Very tricky call for the Bucks.
Very tricky.